Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I want to talk about, here it is October. Now, I've never been one that was really liked Halloween at all. And, but this month of October, Halloween month, I guess, started off yesterday, the 1st, and today's the 2nd, of course. And, yesterday I walked outside, okay? Now, I usually walk outside, try to see, how's the weather. If I'm not going anywhere that day, I'll just walk outside to see, how the weather is and, all that. And try to get a little bit of sun. And so I walked out, just in our driveway, we park. And it was kind of like an eerie feeling. And we have this big 2-story house. All of them kind of around here, many of the houses, they look like castles. Is it called castles? Mini castles or mini mansions, And one of my nieces, when she first saw the house, she was young, and she said, she lives in a mansion. Yeah, it's not that big. And anyway, there was one time years ago. I'm going to tell the story first. Many years ago, Adam was in some other state, I think Florida, and at the moment, and one of my sisters wanted to go to a casino. I don't really care for casinos either, but we went to the casino in Oklahoma. I'm in North Texas, north of Dallas, in the suburb, the city itself, big city itself. And so we went to the casino, and came back. And when we came back, it was after dark, and I leave the light on outside for when I get home, and it wasn't on. Anyway, we drove up to the house, and it's a big 2-story house, okay, and the light wasn't on, but it looked, with her, lights on her. I think it was a car, and they were on, but the way what is the word, illuminated, oh my goodness, it was so scary. Seriously. It was dark outside, and the way the lights lit it up and all, and it was like spooky. And like I said, the front light wasn't on. And I don't know if it was, I think it was that time that I went inside the house, and at the time we had 2 black labs, okay, and one of them was, he just recently passed this year. He was really, like, he has big jaws, like frightening, okay, and so I told her, to keep her lights on so I could go in. Okay, let me get back to that part. So I opened up the door, and I said, let me call you when I get in. I said, that's just so spooky. She was spooked out too. Okay. So I went inside the house, and went to go turn the light on. But when I, inside another part of it to light up the living room. The living room's like the center of the house, a big living room with vaulted ceiling. And but that dog, Marmaduke, was sitting there, right there, past the entranceway, I guess. And there was to his, what would it be, left, there's a staircase, and it's a little turn to it. And he was standing there, he was sitting down, but looking at me and growling. And I knew he knew who I am, He wasn't growling at me, and he kept looking up the stairs and growling. Like he was protecting me to not go in there. Do not go into the living room. And I would have to pass him in that case. And I just kept staring at him, and I walked up and said, what's wrong? And he looked up there growling. And I looked up there, and oh my goodness, I'm not a believer, but it seriously looked like a ghost. Really, a white ghost. Kind of a little bit transparent, see, yeah, that's a word, right? Some of these things, these words I haven't used in so long. But like, the whole thing of the white, and you can see right through it, but you can see it moving and all, like it's in the wind. And I was like, okay, maybe I have just been gone too long. I don't drink or do drugs or anything like that. Maybe I was tired, something from being in a casino for I don't know how long. And then the drive there and back, and all that. And but Marmaduke just stood there, growling at it, and looking at it. So I had my sister on the phone. I said, I'm out of here. Turned around and left, and did not come back that night. I came back in the morning. But it was freaky. See, and like I say, I am not a believer. I am not a believer. And I know some people, they want to believe that ghosts are people that lived in the house before, and they say they're Christian. If you knew, I truly believe, I mean, I'm like really certain, then the Bible says once people die, that's it for that they have for this earth. Okay, what they are demons. Okay, like ghosts, they're demons. Fallen angels. That's what it was. Okay. Anyway, I just don't believe in the whole things like that. It was just freaky. Okay, and I still to this day, that was years ago. I still to this day, every once in a while, look up there. It's just something that will trigger me to look up there like that. But yeah. But anyway, the house, okay, I'm telling this part because the house, depending on the lighting, it can look kind of like, what would be the best word for it? Not gothic, but, like a little bit of it, like a haunted house. If the lighting is right outside or, something. And, well, this is what happened yesterday. Okay. So yesterday, like I said, I was walking out like I usually do and just, getting some fresh air. Here it was, October 1st. And it was just kind of eerie feeling to it, the outdoors. And we're expecting rain. We finally got it today, which it knocked off our lights, which doesn't happen. It must have been really bad. They were out for like 2 hours. Right after I did this video before this, I probably might put it in the right order, maybe. But I was outside because of that reason, charging up my phone. As soon as I walked back in, the lights come on. Electricity come back. 2 hours total. I wasn't out here for 2 hours. But anyway, so that day, yesterday, so, the whole feeling of outdoors was kind of eerie. It was in the middle of the day. And I don't remember what time. But, so I was looking up at the sky in that other direction, as you walk out, looking up in that direction. And there were some dark clouds and, all that. But then I turned around and looked at the house, the clouds above the house. And, man, it was dark, ominous clouds. Spooky clouds. And then I started looking to my right and my left, I was, see how surrounded we are by them. And it got even spookier. Because as I looked around, I said, nothing. Nobody, hardly any cars parked at anybody's houses. It just seemed like we were, I was on a deserted island practically. And so I went in and I got at him. I said, come out here. I want to see what you see. And I wasn't telling him. I wasn't going to tell him. I didn't tell him what I thought. I said, well, I did do things like look up at those, at the house. Look over there. Look over there. And, as he was doing it, he said, and he's not one to be, think about stuff like that either. And he said, there's nobody. Really. Our neighborhood, it's pretty active. I've complained that, too many times I come out here to make video and somebody's going to come out of their house and watch me. And then some people do. They stare at me. Like, look, you've seen it for years. It's time to stop. But anyway, it was spooky. And he even said, this is weird. It's like we're the last humans on the planet. And so we don't even hear any birds. I said, well, I heard one bird. Okay, and usually it's much more. So I heard that one bird chirp, and that was it. And I said, you know what? It's October 1st. that's the explanation. It's October 1st, Halloween month. It's supposed to be when you're supposed to be all spooky, saying things like that. But it was eerie. I mean, spooky, eerie. It just the feeling like, I don't know, it was just so strange. And, well, then today happened, okay, which is basically that about the electricity, Okay, anyway, yeah, today was this with the electricity. Well, I was going to tell that, and then, sorry about that. But the electricity and all, it was kind of strange because both of us, Adam had decided he wanted to cook something that I had said I haven't had in a long time. And he bought some at a international market. And it was liver. Okay, because what I said I haven't had in a long time with liver and onions. And I used to love liver and onions and a little bit of rice, but I haven't had it in years. I can't even remember when. And so he got some, and he decided he was going to cook it. He wanted to cook it. I said, fine. I had to tell him how. He looked it up online, and I said, that's not how I remember. I said, plus we usually have some like brown gravy and onions and rice. I don't do too much on rice because being diabetic, rice is not that good for me. I'm not saying for anybody else, but for me, no, not good at all. And of course, after we ate, we both go and crash. I go into the front room because I didn't think I was going to fall asleep, but I did. And the front room has a TV, and in one of the front rooms, I made it from an office into like a bedroom with a TV, and just watch something different on TV. And I usually watch my videos too, videos I watch. And he goes in the living room. So anyway, he fell asleep in the master bedroom, and I fell asleep in that little room. And then all of a sudden, it was like light outside, but I was sound asleep, and I kept hearing some noise. It sounded like somebody was like kind of up on the roof, crunching the roof. So it was really weird. Okay, I was asleep, like I said, a carbohydrate-induced sleep, and I kept hearing that noise. Said, this is freaky. So here it is, October 2nd. So I go to the front door and look out, and he's a puppy dog now. He'll be 2 years old this the middle of this month, and they didn't know the exact day. They didn't say the exact day, but yeah. So I'd say around the 14, 15, middle of the month, and anyway, or 15, 16 is it? But he wasn't acting too thrilled about it because I kept hearing this. And I opened up the front door, and it was bright outside, but it was also raining. You know how that happens? It's kind of like, oh, okay. And then, boom, but it didn't. It sounded really weird. And like I said, I've lived here, most of the last 20 years. And, of course I know what lightning sounds like anywhere that I've been, that I've heard it. So it's nothing new. But this did not sound like it. It just sounded so weird. Like somebody's crunching the roof in the upper floor, the upper attic and all. And anyway, it kept going on, and then all of a sudden, boom, Adam woke up, and all of a sudden, boom, the electricity went out. It did the off on, then total off. It really doesn't happen very often here at all. And 2 hours later, like Adam said, must have been something really big for that to happen. I'm glad it didn't happen. We had one time our electricity went off when we had those historic Texas winter storms. One time. And I'm so glad that they came back on. Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. And we did have a busted pipe, and luckily we had a neighbor who knew how to fix it. Yeah. Oh, man. And that's when Adam had just gotten out of the hospital, and he couldn't do much of anything. I was having to hold down everything. So, but anyway, I was telling him yesterday, Adam yesterday, we should start watching some, try to get into the spirit, pardon the pun, of Halloween. And I said maybe we should watch one a day, some kind of Halloween show, movie, something, not too scary. We both know we don't like too scary. And we didn't make it yesterday, and today we looked at some and we said, we're not watching any of that. We're just not that type of people. And we watched some, what was the name of the movie? It was a really good one. Remember, what was it? Mike and, not Mindy, is it? Whatever. That woman played on it. What was it called? It's The Starling. Really good. It was very good, really, seriously. And we watched that instead. But and it was after that when we went and both of us fell asleep. But anyway, that's what we were going to do. We're not going to do that now. But maybe if things happen every day, I'll talk about them. But it's not a holiday I like, really. I get too much, like, I'm not a believer and all that kind of stuff, but there have been, of course, things in my lifetime that I just don't have explanation. I'm one that always turns things into very logical. I'm very analytical. I've been tested like you wouldn't believe. I was a career student. Did you hear that noise? At university, both undergraduate and graduate. And I'm very logical. I think very analytically. And that's just not something I believe in. But I've had weird things happen. And maybe I'll tell some stories. Every year I say I'm going to tell some stories, and every year I only get a few out. If at all. Seriously, because I've had some doozies, let me tell you. But anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Speaking of, the nosy neighbor just drove up back to their house. Wonder how long the nosy neighbor will stay outside and watch me. It's something else. It's too many times to be, just coincidence. So, just them standing out there, looking at me. Yeah. I'm not, yeah, it's real. So, anyway, gonna wrap it up. I'll talk to you on another video.